Cheers and welcome my friends, I'm Horath Drak and this is going to be my tips and tutorial video for keeping internal stability up in Imperator Rome. If you're interested in any of the other tutorials on Imperator that I've done, then click the playlist link, it's in the description or at the end of the video. Now let's get to it. The most important factor for your internal stability is pop happiness. And inside that, pops are most unhappy if they're not part of your own culture. If we have a look at this over here, we have pops that are Macedonian and Hellenic. These are our main culture group, our main culture, and our main religion. These guys are at 75%. They just only have positive modifiers over here. Then we have pops that are Macedonian but Jewish, so our culture, different religion. These guys are at 60% happiness. So you see they're only missing like 15% towards the ones that are totally part of our main group. And then you see the guys that are not our religion, not our culture. And you see that the culture debuff is 30%. That is massive. That is, yeah, you see that these guys are quite unhappy at minus 20. And that results in a bit of unrest. Now, this is the capital, so it's always going to be a bit more loyal. And there are not a lot of these pops in here. But in general, having a lot of pops that are not your culture, or even not your culture group, is not good. So what you want to do is you want to put the cultural assimilation edict on your provinces. So the way that the game is structured is there are three units, three organizational units. You have the cities, that is for example this place. This belongs to a province. This all that is highlighted over here. And that province belongs to a region. So province of Syria in Syria. And if we look at the region, this is the whole Syrian region. And apart from your capital region, you're going to have to need a governor in these areas. So for example, the region of Cilicia with all its provinces is being governed by Alcates Dianit over here. And the governors will themselves decide what kind of edict they want to put on the provinces. You can change those, and you have to spend oratory power to do that. And it is going to incur you some tyranny, because you basically telling them how to do things, and they don't really appreciate that. But you can do it, and I do recommend that you do it if you have a big country like Phrygia that has conquered a lot of pops that belong to the wrong culture, because long term this is really going to screw you over if those guys don't belong to your culture. So what you do is you click on this and you go for cultural assimilation, and depending on the finesse skill of your character, the civic skill over here, this will have a chance every month of converting a pop to your culture. So our leader over here, he has a finesse skill of 8. That results in a conversion chance of 25%. Higher finesse skill will increase that. This creates unrest, but as more and more of your pops will get converted, the unrest will die down, and this will cause a much more stable country. This is going to be the main expense if you have a big empire, or starting as a big empire in the beginning and you don't have those cultures. You can see almost nothing of that as Macedonian, and almost nothing of that is in our main culture group, which is this blue one. So yeah, the best edict that you can put on newly conquered provinces is definitely cultural assimilation. The way rebellions work in Imperator Rome is a little bit differently than in other Paradox games like Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings. You won't just have rebel stacks popping up in your provinces whenever the unrest gets too high. Instead, what happens is there is a loyalty value for your provinces, and there's a loyalty value for your people in your country. And both of these are important. If you have a disloyal province and all your characters are loyal to you, nothing will happen. If you have, apart from slave revolts, that is still something that can happen if unrest is high. But there's not going to be any organized revolts. If you have a lot of disloyal characters, but all your provinces are loyal, that is still fine. These disloyal characters might maybe raise an army with their own personal funds, but they won't find a lot of support in your provinces. Now, if you have a disloyal province and disloyal characters, then you have the combination of doom, and you will probably get either a civil war if the province is of your own culture, or you will get a rebellion where a province that is of another culture than yours will just try to break away and become an independent country. You can see the loyalty on the map for each province. Looks a bit overwhelming at first, but you'll very quickly get the hang of this. So what you can see is this is the loyalty of the province. this is the loyalty of the person. This is 100 because it's us, it's our ruler. But over here it's the governor. So this governor is at 75 loyalty. The province is at 100 loyalty. And then you see where it's trending. Changes by 0.22 here for this province because all the cities in the province are happy. Whereas over here it's actually dropping because there are a couple of places that have unrest due to unhappy pops. And the governor is mainly being mad because we have reduced wages. If we switch that around, that governor is actually going to be fine. As you can see over here, suddenly the arrows are pointing up. And so what you want to avoid is having both at the same time, so disloyal provinces and disloyal characters. The third type of revolt that you can have is just a revolting subject. So if I have a subject like a tributary or whatever kind of subject, and they have more than 20% of my pops, so in this case that would be 20% of 3,000 pops, and they are disloyal, then they might start a war where they try to break free, and they can also call in allies into that. So that's the third thing that you want to try to avoid. A helpful thing if you're playing a bigger country and maybe you've conquered something, done something to create some unrest, is you can attach armies to a certain region and give them over to the control of the local governor. So I have this army over here. It cannot have a commander. If it has a commander, just dismiss them. And then you want to click on this assign to region. And this will reduce the unrest, the local unrest in here. Not sure why the tooltip is being that way, because the numbers over here don't work with the numbers in the cities themselves. But yeah, if you click to this, click on this, then this army will be assigned to the governor of Palestine or any other governor. Basically the governor of the area where the army stands in. So this is Palestine, this is my capital region, and you can see that this is now controlled by the governor. These guys will also become loyal slowly but surely to the governor. So there is a downside to that, giving your provincial governors big armies under their command can have a downside. So be aware of that. But as you can see over here, governor's local troops minus 1.68. That's a lot more potent than the tooltip makes you think. That just says minimum unrest minus 0.08. That's not all that much, but if you can see that modifier is now gone. Governor's local troops 0.0. Yeah, it's quite a potent way of actually keeping up the peace in certain areas. And while you're at peace, why not use your troops to do a little bit of peacekeeping work? You can even move them inside that region to fight maybe rebels or something. So you can still give them an objective and you can still control them. You can just not move them outside of this area. So since that army belongs to Palestine, I cannot move them into Syria. And I can also not move them into other areas. For that I would have to remove this and detach this from the region. Yay, you made it to the end of the video. By now you know the drill. Click the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, ring all the bells, ring your mother's bell. And thanks for watching.